Another episode of CWTV, and today we have with us Hueina Su, who is a nurturer coach. She's also a keynote speaker, author of the 7 Keys to Nurture Your Soul, and I am so glad to have her because we all know that in order to be successful financially and in our lives in general, we have to learn how to take better care of ourselves, and sometimes we neglect that, and as a result we don't experience this level of success in our lives that we would hope. And I know for myself, it's very difficult to balance taking care of me and taking care of my family and also taking care of my business. So I'm glad that you decided to join us today to kind of give us some insight on how we can take better care of ourselves so that we can in turn grow our business and nurture our businesses and, you know, succeed at everything that we desire to succeed at. And if you want to tell us a little bit more about how you came to be a nurturer's coach, because that's not very common, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me today, and I'm really honored to be here. And this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. I started out as a nurse more than 20 years ago. And as a nurse, I took care of a lot of oncology cancer patients, and that's how I started to feel the importance of taking good care of myself. Because as a nurse, nurses are very prone to stress and burnout.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yes, and when I was taking care of patients, I feel really stressed out when they are not making the progress that I hope that they will make. And especially with terminal cancer patients, sometimes it doesn't matter how good I am as a nurse, some of them were not going to make it. And so over time I started to learn, okay, in order to be a better nurse, I have to be taking better care of myself, and I have to learn to adjust emotionally. Learn to practice detached involvement, so I won't get burned out and stressed out and depressed over time. And then after a few years, I decided to go into counseling because I really love to help the patients and their families. So I went to family counseling, and then I went into nonprofits. I work at a college, and I went into small businesses, and became my own boss. So I went into many different businesses. And until a few years ago, I found coaching and fell in love with life coaching. So I went back to school and got my coaching certification. And at the same time, when I was deciding about what kind of people do I want to help with coaching and what topics I'm really passionate about, I thought about my own experience. My whole life, I feel I'm destined to be a nurturer. That, growing up with 4 generations of doctors and nurses in my family. I was a nurse myself. My dad's a medical doctor. My mom is a nurse. We have grandparents, uncles, and
so you have a real long history of taking care of people.
Yeah, so we are like professional nurturers in my family. And I remember when my kids were little, I was running a home-based business, and my son was less than a year old. He was a baby, and I was still nursing him. My daughter was maybe 2.5 years old or 3. And we just moved to Texas. My husband has a new job, so we moved. And it was the first winter we were there. We didn't know anyone. We had no family around, no friends around.
Really new environment.
It really new, and so I was it. When you don't have any family and friends around, you are it. And my husband was full-time, so I was taking care of them full-time while running my small business. And so they both got down with bronchitis. And of course it's not fun when you have 2 little children.
No, it's not. I'm a mother, I know.
And you are trying to take care of them, and they got better. Of course, you take them to the doctor right away, give them all the medicine, they got better very quickly, and I was getting worse and worse. And I started to have the same symptoms. I was coughing really hard. I couldn't breathe. I was just feeling exhausted. But I was so focused on taking care of them, I wasn't paying attention. And so I ended up coughing for a month.
Wow. You let yourself go a long time.
Yeah, it's really, I just wasn't paying attention to myself. And so finally, it just dawned on me, Hueina, you got bronchitis too. And it's like, I was a nurse myself.
So you should have known that.
I know, I should have known, right? How did I miss that? So that taught me a really valuable lesson. I knew that in order to be able to be a good mother and to run my business, I really have to take good care of me. And of course, guess how much business I did within that month? Really not much at all. Yeah, because I was sick and I was taking care of my kids, and so now as a coach, I help a lot of women nurturers to really take better care of themselves. And a lot of my clients are women business owners.
Okay. And
when people ask me, well, you are the nurturer's coach, how do you define nurturer? And I think anyone who is in a role of, either personally or professionally, in a role of taking care of someone else or something, that they are nurturers. So of course business owners are nurturers too, because we are nurturing our business. We are growing our businesses. Are you surprised that that's the deadly mistake that I was referring to? Are you making the same mistake? I wasn't joking when I say it's a deadly mistake. It's very commonly overlooked by most small business owners, and it can prove to be potentially deadly for you and your business. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with small business owners. They were either my coaching clients or they came to my workshops, and they told me all these stories about how they used to get so stressed out and burned out because they didn't know how to balance their life and their business, because they didn't know how to take care of themselves while they are trying to build a successful business, or because they didn't know how to build the right business structure so their business can succeed in the long run. And in the end, they got stressed out and burned out, and many of them got sick. Some of them even told me they got cancer. And it's really heartbreaking for me to hear stories like this, because most of these people are small business owners. When something like this happened, they simply cannot continue. A lot of them were forced out of business. So this is why I made this video for you. I want to help you avoid this deadly mistake, and I want to help you to learn the 3 things that you must do, 3 things that you must nurture in order to have a thriving business in the long run and still have a life. So stay tuned for the next part of the video. I'll see you in a little bit.